Thank you so much, and thank you very much for the invitation. When I got the invitation, I started to think that actually it could be great to gather the Danish and actually the Nordic cities and people working on greenfield projects. So right now we are working on setting up a small Danish or even Nordic network of new towns. And here today, Aarhus is also here, the city of Aarhus, the second largest city of Denmark. They are also working on a very big green field project. And together with Vinge, we have the two largest areas in Denmark where we work on greenfield, literally. So this is Vinge, a new town about 35 kilometers outside of central Copenhagen. It's a town that we're planning for about 20,000 people and 4,000 jobs. Perhaps you can see that it's shaped a little bit as a wing. This is the top. And here we have actually the shape of a wing. Perhaps you can't see, although the picture is a little bit light, that here is an existing city of Frederikssund, and here's actually a train line running, the regional train going to Copenhagen. So about 30 kilometers to Copenhagen. And here will be a new regional train station. So some of you might know the famous finger plan of the Copenhagen region. This is central Copenhagen in here. And the famous finger plan from the 40s had this finger of 5 lines, or is it 6? Because there's also one here. So the regional development of Copenhagen has been taking place along these lines. There will be trains, motorways, and then between the lines you had all the green, or you still have all the green recreational areas. And in the finger plan, there is one area left, 370 hectares. That's where Vinge is being developed. So it's the last remaining area of the finger plan. And as you can see, construction starts in August. Here, 1st of August, the first pioneers will start constructing their own home. We're quite excited about that. Overall, it's a mix of public and private investments, both state, municipality, and private investors. This is how it looks like right now. It is literally a green field. There are a couple of farms scattered around here. And then we have an existing small village over here. But there will actually be a buffer zone, so there won't be a close connection to this village. This will be the heart of Vinge. This will be a station, the new S-train station. We'll actually have about 8 stories, up to 8 stories in this central part of Vinge. A very important feature of Vinge is nature. So nature is really the starting point for the architects who have made the master plan. So what you'll see here running through, I'll show you the master plan in a second. But right here you can see the landscape running through the area. Of course there's a crossing of a train here. But still you will have a green heart, just like you have here in Holland, but this is of course much smaller. But we'll have this green heart running through the whole area. But this will be the central and iconic place of Vinge. This is just another picture from Vinge, but what you actually see here is a bicyclist, and what we have here is a so-called superhighway for bicyclists. The whole capital region of Copenhagen, and especially Copenhagen, as you might know, is very much designed for bicyclists. But also along these finger out in the region, there are these superhighways, really good highways for bicyclists, and one of them runs right through Vinge. What you can also see here is that nature here is a little bit wild, and the intention is really to be very close to nature. Nature shouldn't be, very put off. You should really feel. Nature here, you should even be close to the animals, species, and so forth. I'll get a little bit back to that. This is the central part of Vinge. Here you can see the circular station running through Copenhagen and to Frederikssund. So this is the master plan of the central part. And here you can see again the green heart running through the area. And in this area, especially this area, we have protected frogs. We have a lot of animals that we need to of course take into the consideration. And all through the area, there'll be these corridors. Perhaps you can see it. There's one corridor going out here, and there'll be corridors all along the green heart. I should also mention that this central part of Vinge will be developed by a private company. So the master plan is what we are controlling, you can say, from the municipality side. But actually the central part, 180,000 square meters, will be sold off here in September. So right now we have a dialogue with a consortium of private investors. And of course that creates a situation where the local politicians, they will have the local plan as kind of the instrument, but they're actually, giving, of course, away the heart of Vinge. That's a challenge, because this development company will be fully private. But as you can see here, the design of the area is, it's mixed use. There'll be both housing here, there'll be residential areas, there'll be about 6,000 square meters of public space, library, a conference center, a small cultural center as well. And this area will be, as I mentioned, up to 8 stories. It'll be quite dense. But in September, we'll get an agreement on developing most of this in just one piece. That's quite extraordinary for a project on a green field 30 kilometers outside of Copenhagen. This is an illustration of the first residential area that we're developing. It's called the Delta District. We're creating an artificial delta to suck up all the rainwater. In general, there's a lot of rainwater solutions in this area. In this first area that is located right here, we have created a delta running through here. Here you can actually, this is the master plan. Here you can see all these corridors running out through the area. And here you see the whole green heart running through. The station is here and then through the area. But this first area, the Delta district, was sold out. The plots were sold out in about 5 weeks. And here you see the private consortia moving in. Between June and September, we'll sell this off. Just a few words more about the master plan. Up here, we'll actually have a production area with businesses, and a lot of the surplus heat from these factories up here will be sent off into a district heating system. But many of the houses actually can they're constructed to be ready to be off-grid. But of course we'll be having a district heating system. It'll be built up in different modules so that the different parts, for instance the factories here, can send down surplus heat. And there's for instance a great need of cooling actually in the what do you call it, the office buildings down here in the central area. But there'll be a very I would say sophisticated integrated energy system in this area. This is the first area, the Delta District, which we have sold out quite fast. And here you see the landscaping is quite interesting. We're having this artificial delta sucking up all the rainwater from the area. There'll be these rainwater channels running through the area, so you'll really have a presence of water in the area. Of course, especially when it rains. And this is actually the last slide I would like to show. This is a slide of some of the pioneers of Vinge. And we're working, of course, with a master plan, but Vinge will never be like that. We know, that's for sure. It will take 15 to 20 minutes to develop, 15 to 20 years to develop Vinge. But I think it's so important to be in dialogue with the pioneers and the citizens along these 15 to 20 years, but especially the pioneers are so important. Up here you see David and Celine. They're not construction workers, they're actually pioneers. They're out here looking at the plot that they have bought. But they are giving the city administration so much input. They're also giving a lot of input to the utility company, and they are, for instance, setting up collaboration programs with Tesla, for instance. David and Celine, they're building a house that can work off-grid, but they need to have a technology that can store their surplus energy, so they have set up a collaboration with Tesla, you know, the motor company. But Tesla has some batteries that they'll be using in their house, and 4 of these 23 families that have bought a plot here will use this Tesla technology, being off-grid, but they need still to store the energy. And just down here, you can see, this is from one of our monthly meetings with the pioneers, you can actually see 3 Teslas. And you mentioned before that this is a I think you said upper class segment. Well, yes, this is definitely a segment that is highly interested in being a pioneer and be using some of the very advanced technologies, green technologies, including Teslas. But it's also a very interesting segment. They're building on 300 square meters. Their house have to be in 2 plots, and I think our area would look a little bit like the Homer's quarter that we saw yesterday. But down here you see another group. This is Celine from a group of about 100 people. They want to build 2 circular houses. That'll be more like a collective group, and that's more like deep ecology segment. So I'm just very happy that we have already managed to attract both those very, Tesla segment and then the deep ecology segment. And for us as a city administration, we need to really be in dialogue with both segments. But that's perhaps my final note here, that including some of the ideas that we have had on, for instance, smart city technologies. We've had a talk with David and Celine and some of the co-pioneers, and many of them say, well, it sounds great with intelligent lighting and whatever have you, but we don't really need it, and we have some own solutions. So my point is just really that perhaps we are the kind of the master planners. I don't want to call myself a master planner, but I would really like to co-create the city with Celine and the other pioneers.